This temple seems promising. Let's keep our eyes peeled for another emblem bracelet.
Ah! I found it! Look! It's the bracelet of the Shepherd Exalt.
Interesting. There's an unusual presence inside this one. Let's try the invocation. Awaken, Emblem of Bonds.
Awake at last. I feel like I slept for quite a while. Guess I can't tease you for those long naps of yours anymore.
Hello.
Ah, sorry. We're just getting our bearings. Nice to meet you. I'm Chrom.
He's the leader of the Shepherds. I'm Robin, his tactician. If you're the one who awakened us, then you have my thanks.
Yes, I'm the Divine Dragon. So, you're two emblems in the same bracelet?
Right, but it's not that surprising. Robin and I are bound by ties stronger than fate.
What do you mean?
I swore an oath to Chrom when we lost his older sister, the Exalt Emerald. Neither of us was half the person she was, but together we became something more.
From then on, we supported each other through thick and thin, no matter the danger. My sister fought for a peaceful world. Together, Robin and I made that a reality.
That's a wonderful story. We're also fighting to make our world a peaceful one. Would the two of you be willing to put your efforts toward another happy ending?
Of course, we'd be honored.
Honored? But I haven't even told you what's happening.
I knew I could trust you the moment I looked into your eyes.
Chrom follows his instincts. He trusted me right away too, even though I'd lost my memory.
Well, I appreciate the confidence.
Before we join you, though, I think we'll have to see for ourselves what you're made of.
Agreed. It takes strength and fortitude to win a fight. We should make sure you have both.
Don't worry, it's not a formal test. Just show us what you've got and trust it'll be enough.
I understand. Let's get started.
Welcome back to DLC Island. Can you tell we're in a cathedral? Before I talk more about the map, I want to add a disclaimer. This map has a surprise in store. If that sounds like your cup of tea, play it before watching this video. Maybe like the video so you can quickly find your way back here. Got it? Alright, with that out of the way, this map's a doozy. The objective's defeating Chrom and Robin, but they're behind a barrier we have to break first. That requires destroying 3 crystals, west, center, and east, in a single turn. As befitting a tactician, Robin has a trick up his sleeve. He checks how far apart your units are, to be more specific, how many squares on average each unit is away from the center of mass of your army. When that distance exceeds 5 squares, Robin springs his trap. The map becomes cluttered with water tiles that obstruct your movement. This also happens when you break the barrier if it hadn't already. Reinforcements will show up when that happens, ready to pounce. Those reinforcements are a bit of a theme. They trickle in behind the barrier every couple of turns until turn 46, stopping when you break the barrier. Breaking the barrier itself spawns reinforcements on all sides, as does triggering Robin's trap. Even more than Tiki's map, where at least camping the spawn point is possible, we want to take out the bosses quickly to end the map before we're hopelessly outnumbered. Engage is for the most part generous to bind players, but this gimmick's a brutal exception. The natural way to destroy the crystals is splitting your army. If you fan out before actually reaching the crystals, suddenly your frail mage knight who is having a good time is getting picked off by a wyvern, their escape route blocked off by water. The water also delays breaking the barrier, which means more reinforcements, and it's pretty easy to drown in waves of enemies before you even approach Chrom and Robin. Chrom and Robin are a pair, so they're a little different from your standard emblem boss. They're fairly far away from the barrier, so unless you really go out of your way, they'll get to do their thing. Robin will then use Rally Spectrum, which gives surrounding units +3 to every basic stat. Then when Chrom rushes you, he'll be significantly more buff than you might expect. It's a shame I don't have bond rank 15 with Veronica for Elivagar to disable that. Even if you can eventually deal with him and his allies, some of whom can chain guard, even a short delay can prove lethal given the time pressure. This paralogue can be a nightmare, and my first time playing it definitely flirted with disaster. But once you know about the gimmick, there's a simple counter strategy. Start by moving most of your units directly north, advancing closer to the objectives without triggering the water. You can bait the initial enemies towards you to ensure a good matchup and clear them without spreading out too much. Then, fan out from the middle and quickly break all the crystals. This isn't something I see myself saying again, but maybe inherit demolish. The reinforcements when you break the barrier don't spawn within range of the crystals, you can beat the map before they matter. To achieve that, we'll need to face the enemies here right now. I'm playing this map right as they've promoted. That's an inconvenient time. We don't have the safety net of Micaiah, and because our units promote closer to level 10, we've gained much less of the past map than the enemies had through their master seals. I'll be honest, even playing it at a bad time, despite hyping it up in last video's outro, I found playing this map easier than, say, Lucina's Paralog. That map has the same enemy level, but a much tighter overlapping range. Here, after the first waves to the north, the enemies are neatly bunched into groups you can prepare a unit or two for. That first wave's tricky, but it too is susceptible to divide and conquer. One of the reasons we're here now is that I sometimes see newer players railroaded into playing every DLC Paralog immediately, because they're told they won't stand a chance after Chapter 10. I disagree, and moreover, I don't like anyone getting the impression they need special gamer genius to play the game in the order they want. I'd characterize the DLC Paralogs as designed like endgame maps. They test team building, and because there's significant time pressure, it's harder to get by with anyone the way you can in Soul. Tamara's not about to show up with Ike and 2 elite retainers, and the wolves showing up soon won't sit tight and let you go at your own pace. If you play in this series style, using the DLC's extra resources for a large, diverse team capable of serious enemy phase combat, these Paralogs are where that effort shines the most. With a solid game plan, which I can help with, there's no need for inordinate fear. If anything, you should be excited to let your team show off. Okay, I'd maybe have a healthy respect for Camilla's map. Then that's totally doable now, but it definitely has an extra edge to it. If nothing else, I'd recommend you find your own tolerance for difficulty, instead of letting me or anyone else convince you that you don't want a challenge. If you're using the DLC to make Swordmaster Clan your best unit, I wholeheartedly support that mission, but the gap between Swordmaster Clan and Lindgren Ivy isn't easy to paper over here. Maybe you'd enjoy that, either through exceptional planning or with unusually high tolerance for difficulty, but if you enjoy the rhythm of the main game and your team's poorly set up for the DLC Paralogs, you may find playing them more fun with Micaiah, so you can simplify things if you want to. Pure skill is part of the equation, but it's not even the largest component. With the right team, you can sail the victory with little thought at any point in the campaign, and with the wrong team, anyone would struggle. My team's hardly hyper-optimized, but I have what I need. We have 11 long-term team members and 10 deployment slots, so Ivy's sitting this one out. She doesn't have a long-term emblem pairing, and I'm not worried about her hitting the stat benchmarks she needs to coming up. Alir's back to the ever-useful Spur attack. Chloe's hit rank 10 with Veronica, unlocking the Fortify Plus staff so I can relive my Micaiah glory days. I got a Flame Lance from the Ancient Well. On this map, Flea's Scalp is all we need, but I'm happy to have completed my set of magic weapons. Lapis had just leveled up, so I took the opportunity to switch her from lances to swords. It matches both her innate proficiency and Lucina's engage attack. One of the undocumented details of the class system is that once you acquire a class skill, you can second seal into a different version of that class without losing it. That gives me more time to, hopefully, maybe, find a place allied defense is useful. Not here, alas. More excitingly, she's now unlocked Parthia. That lets us have our cake and eat it too. Lapis can both play support and train up quickly. Amber, Marin, and Kagetsu all reprise their roles from Chapter 14. Amber and Marin bring much needed mobility, and Kagetsu's his usual stylish Volo stats. Anna's continuing to get to know Camilla. Her movement is quite helpful on this map. Jean's still a little behind my other units in XP, and this map rewards specialization. He'll have good training fodder here. Citrine appreciates starting the map with a Radiant Bow. We'll finally get to see her role on this team. Last but not least, Saline has her new emblem Byleth. For all I've done to talk up the pairing, I need to put my money where my mouth is. Byleth's kit is too large to showcase in one map, but we'll certainly get to see some of what makes him great here. I've given Saline rank 5 in the emblem arena, which I'd generally recommend making a habit of and will continue to do for future emblems. That helps us immediately by giving us extra stats and mentorship to boost this map's experience, and in the future by cheaply accelerating future bond ranks. Let's get going.
No need to hesitate. Come at us with everything you've got.
Let's see how you handle our strategy.
barrier is in our way. We'll have to figure out how to break through it.
Divine One, it looks like those crystals might be generating the barrier.
Let's try smashing one and see what happens.
Saline can use Byleth's combination of magic and speed to one down their Great Knights, leaving only the Paladin. She'll need Alir's moral support. The first obstruct ensures the enemies target Saline, and the second fixes enemy movement. Marin can provide that and her aura. With Knightly Escort, Alir support, Veronica's Engrave, and the Pillar, Saline has excellent chances to survive through 2 dodges. That doesn't require Bondage Shield, so Lapis can simply chill.
I'm at 100%.
This first group of Sages and Generals is nearly impossible for a single unit to enemy phase at once. Because the Sages have more range, however, Jean can bait only them. After an HP tonic and Geosphere from Kagetsu, the last thing he needs to tank is a Pure Water, which gives you a res +7 boost, favoring one each turn. I don't recall ever using one of these before. By the time I'd used one, I'd forgotten they exist. They're maybe not useful, but also not useless. Citrine partially damages the first crystal. A total demolition would simply be undone at the end of this turn. You have to break every crystal at once. Kagetsu's again just short of a guaranteed 1 round against promoted Berserkers. He's too evasive in Draconic form, factoring in the Pillar, so instead we're fishing for crits the old-fashioned way, with a Linen Grave Killing Edge. Chloe will summon Hero. We'll have them fight the Hand Axe Berserker Kagetsu can't counter, so Red's the play.
Engage!
I wonder what hero will arrive. On guard!
They'll wait their turn. Anna and Amber don't have anything to do, but they can both train Bond Rank through emblem skills.
Here comes Amber!
This is what Bow Knights are built to do. Warrior has a lot of stats, but resistance is not one of them, and Warrior's extra damage is mostly wasted fighting mages. Griffins and Wolf Knights can't counter Thunder magic. This enemy phase has about a 58% chance of panning out, if my fairly tedious math is right. There are several ways to make it more reliable, left as an exercise with the reader, but since I'm committed to resetting for it anyway, I cheaped out. It's common to plan out an ambitious turn 1, rig if you have to, and then start improv from turn 2 with all your rewinds and all that accomplished. I'm planning out every turn, so my incentive to do this is instead avoiding an awkward splice arm using the time crystal.
Rest in pieces. Try again.
Kagetsu's so cool, you guys.
Precision and power. One less fall.
I will not forget your loss.
Oh no, we're gonna dodge the next one, right, Saline?
All flowers eventually wilt.
Phew. This can be a brutal second turn if you aggro everyone without thinning them out, but we've done just that. While Knightly Escort and Alir support are available, Marin finishes off the Paladin. Lapis still has axes, so she's able to use a hammer against one of the generals. Unlike most of my squad, she couldn't care less about taking 4 damage from his javelin. Citrine, who very much does care, finishes the job. The inner 2 generals wield great lances, so Saline safely chips from afar.
I'll help.
A good wind.
If I can, I shall.
Anna follows suit on the other side. Last map's unpromoted armors definitely undersell the danger enemy generals pose for us. Anna could hit this benchmark, but she'd need a lot more help than she did last map. We have plenty of actions, so I'm happy to involve everyone. Lapis's dual assist is unfortunately a nuisance within this series. It's a constant source of random variation that demands contingencies. Lear doesn't get many kill opportunities, so she takes one here with 11 Sword. Amber can finish off the general sailing weakened. He doesn't need effective damage or magic, just his own strength supplemented by Lear support and momentum.
Here! That settles it.
Amber shows us a growth mindset like the champ he is. He got more than just 2 stat points on the level. Air raid's not important right now, but it'll have its moments. Chloe also misses the 1 round, setting up a Jean kill.
This doesn't look good.
The role of our hero is to provide insurance for Kagetsu's kill, but the Swordmaster's own crit complicates things. If Kagetsu misses his crits, then that means this guy's guaranteed to miss his with the same random numbers, so he can safely soften the Berserker up for Kagetsu to finish without a crit. It's numerically favored to start with a summon, but for whatever reason I wanted to give Kagetsu a chance. I'm punished for not properly playing the numbers, alas. The Swordmaster is needed here. Kagetsu has Folkvanger, so even a weak summon could do enough chip damage to guarantee this. If there is a summon that can fail me, I didn't see it in planning.
Victory is mine.
Kagetsu can now give Anna a mostly unimportant Divine Blessing. I wonder what she's going to do with these flyers in a checkerboard pattern.
Let us become one. I love you all.
Dark Inferno can't get the kill against the Monk, but it shreds the Griffins. Part of me feels bad for these checkerboards in the main game, which I don't think were designed around Dark Inferno, but the fact that they also put them in the DLC makes me less worried about it.
Say night-night!
Anna's had fantastic make-a-killing luck. I like to think this is all from the goddess icon I gave her. She canters closer to the middle. We'll see why in a moment. Lapis preps a bonded shield for Jean. There's a lone longbow sniper who would confound us there. We'll show him what a real long-range snipe looks like.
Emblem, engage!
Maximizing the Radiant Bow requires some math, unfortunately. It's important to know Asher Storm and Lodestar Rush round damage up instead of flooring it the way the vast majority of multiplicative effects in Engage do. Citrine has 35 magical attack to the 13 resistance of this longbow sniper for 22 damage. 30% of that is 6.6, so each hit of Asher Storm does 7 damage. If she stands next to Spur Attack Alear, we go from 6.6 to 8.1 damage. That means we're getting a full 10 extra.
Now what have you? I need to get stronger till no one can beat me.
Citrine levels HP, which means she can be healed. Marin can physic Sailing while avoiding full HP on her as well, and Sailing can do the same for Jean. Those moves have to change depending on previous luck.
For peace.
That's all setting up Chloe for Fortify Plus, which heals status conditions and HP in a 7-tile radius just large enough for Anna. It gives XP the same way Great Sacrifice does, as many separate heals. It's good at low levels, but it eventually falls off hard. She's next to Sailing for the Mentorship boost. Jean needs a bit of a boost, which we can now give him thanks to reposition. It's so nice not to have to completely reroute my clear for an extra 2 spaces anymore. He'll have excellent one-rounding chances with the killer bow. If you want a quick heuristic sense of what the condition for spawning the water is, if this summon moved closer to my army center, the water wouldn't spawn. We're ready to roll though, so let's let Robin have his fun. After Robin has his fun, Jean and Anna can break the crystals with their inherited Demolish, and we'll get ready for Chrom. In the meantime, I'll double back to Mentorship. I will play around it more than standard, and it's the poster child of a larger shift in my approach to the game. After the first few weeks of total ignorance reigning, a metagame took shape. While I'd like to think I'm delving deeper than previous resources, my unit analyses owe a lot to that initial metagame consensus. I'd characterize that approach as built around Micaiah and Byleth's ability to sidestep combat, Lucina and Lynn's ability to dominate combat, and the incredible stats of Kagetsu, Ivy, Pandreo, and company. Back then, most players were inexperienced, so there were a lot of propaganda efforts to spread the word about non-obvious parts of the game. I know I initially missed how insane Kagetsu's stats were, or how enemy AI plays into Bondage Shield, so that's important work. That can also look like throwing cold water on deceptively bad stuff. Mentorship's 20% XP sounds better than it is. Veteran's 50% boost from Awakening is widely considered one of the best skills in Fire Emblem history, even if that's more controversial than it used to be. So many players saw it as meta-defining and put it on everyone. I consider that a fairly significant waste of SP and skill slots. The early days of the standard meta development marked Mentorship's nadir in the eyes of the community as that propaganda machine kicked in. It got an entire hit piece, which I doubt you'll ever see for the similarly cheap and situational unyielding. The largest gaps between casual fans and the people constantly playing engage and discussing the game online, Mentorship's the poster child, but you can also think of Anna and especially her Mega Killing, Tamara and Ulcris with their own RNG personals, Etier and a few other early physical units with unfortunate statistical comparisons who feel good with investment, have become tarnished as markers of inexperienced play. I've seen people legitimately defensive about this, tripping over themselves to make it clear that, yes, they know Lapis is Dai Kagetsu, but can we talk about this build pretty please? And I don't doubt their defensiveness comes from experience. There are unfortunately voices who will assume that surely anyone using Lapis has never checked your stats against Kagetsu's, or is some unserious player grinding up characters based on waifu bias who shouldn't participate in metagame discussion, and will tell you as much. That reaction's somewhat understandable. It's difficult to discuss units if you're just reminiscing about an RNG-blessed run with Lyn, and especially in Engage, it's hard to account for unit investment. You invest in a Lear every run, it can be shocking to realize Lapis has basically the same stats. It's almost impossible to disentangle good vibes from favoritism from your feelings on a unit's own merits. Still, that rush to enlighten the masses from the Ivory Tower has deep flaws. Most importantly, there is of course nothing wrong with using Tamara because you like her necklace or her dice rolls, and I'm glad Fire Emblem has room enough for many playstyles. The second, more interesting flaw with prescriptive meta advice is that I'm no longer sure how true it all is. The usual meta stuff significantly improved my play at first, and I do think it's standard for a reason. In making this series, I'll perhaps come to see the common advice as an easy approach to the game, rather than the best. Using pre-promotes with amazing stats and tools like Bondage Shield that de-emphasize stats and positioning makes things simple. When I'm not in the mood for planning, that's what I reach for, and I was initially worried about this series evolving into Bondage Shield spam. That hasn't happened yet, and part of the reason why is that I'm forcing myself to think of alternatives. Chrom can survive through L Thunders, Bondage Shield not required, but it's more complicated, and a different unit will need different support. That doesn't make Bondage Shield superior, simply easier. Bringing the Ramble Train back into the station, Mentorship's the best example of my evolving feelings on the meta. This series has the first time I've ever relied on a unit gaining stats mid-enemy phase, Citrine doubling the first sniper in Chapter 13. You're trying to cut XP margins that thin? A 20% boost is pretty good. If you half remember some rando talking about lineage not scaling well in their Edelgard analysis, you may not check the XP tables to see that support XP doesn't have the same sharply diminishing returns, and those initial calculations people use to make Mentorship look bad aren't necessarily relevant. All of a sudden, a skill that I would have once called worthless starts to seem more like hard to appreciate, and maybe even something most teams should inherit on at least one unit. There's an exciting takeaway from all this. Engage's metagame is only now hitting its stride. The recent route LTC by Felt, which I'll link in the description, and considered the challenger and closest in vision to this series, gives Anna a starring role. I've certainly seen it claim she has no place in any efficient setting, so it's cool to see a training unit dominate like that. The Fateful Dawn LTC Iron Man, recently released and linked in the description, really does use Royal Knight, if not as much as Felt used Anna. In particular, the Chapter 22 Clear All link is incredible, and makes use of a huge number of often overlooked parts of the game. Learning the standard engage metagame means mastering a few tools and learning to ignore the rest. I find myself unlearning that for this series. I aspire to have every potential use case for Byleth at my fingertips, the way I do the intricacies of Bondage Gildana. That's not a small project, but it excites me because of how many pleasant surprises I've already had making the series. I miss Armor Shield as emphatically as I did. What other tools simply need an open mind and some planning to shine? How much of the meta would change if more highly planned runs that weren't modding the game or going for strict turn counts were out there?
Me first!
The food weapons shot from the Ancient Well have innate dodge, which ensures a Leer isn't crit here.
I can tell by your form that you're no stranger to battle. You know what you're doing.
I've learned a lot along the way, but I still have a goal to achieve.
You've got as much determination as Robin does. I can see it in your eyes. Now, let's get started. I'm ready when you are.
That sets up the kill for Lapis, which means we get that sweet Parthia boost and see father and daughter reunited.
Father, I never expected to see you in this world too.
Lucina! I wasn't expecting to see you either. We've got a lot of catching up to do. But let's save it until after the battle.
Of course. It has been a long time since we sparred. Let's both try not to break anything.
If you want a fixed ordering to the DLC paralogs, some players like to play each one after the corresponding main game emblem joins. That by no means gives you a smooth difficulty curve. Good luck with Thorin. But if you want a hard limit on yourself to avoid just chaining all the paralogs early, it's a good approach. We unfortunately missed Corrin's dialogue with Camilla by not following that order.
I'll help.
I don't want Citrine taking this kill, but I figure having some bond rank training isn't so bad. Now it's time for our first goddess dance. Rushing the boss's last turn would have been a better showcase of its ceiling, but I'm not turning down 2 Parthia kills in one turn.
Emblem engage! Let the lesson begin!
This map has wolves that don't really appear in other places. They have an ability that reduces your max HP when they hit you, and they have 27 speed. We are happy to be at a safe distance, but that doesn't mean we don't have a gift for them. You know how Citrine is with gifts.
Emblem engage!
Whoops, 2 tiles off. Amber's gotta get out of the way first.
I'm okay.
Here!
Alright, time for that parting gift. The Mystical Instruct bonus helps us out here. By doing it next to Saline, we're also getting that tiny extra bit of XP.
As if I'd lose!
A good wind.
We have to take out Robin too, so Marin needs an enemy for Raging Storm. Knightly Escort adds that little bit of extra hit.
Emblem, engage!
Me first! Who's next?
Kagetsu can take the kill.
You're so...
Before we wrap up, we can complete our last bits of training. Jean can snipe the left Meteor Mage. I can't believe anyone would stoop so low as long-range magical attacks like Meteor. And Anna can handle the right. Funnily enough, the best weapon for that job is Noatune.
Forgive me! Goodbye.
Ow! Poor thing.
Chloe's training is Fortify Plus. A lot of units were damaged in the scuffle with Chrom. Initially, I focus on just maximizing the number of heals, but then I think maybe Mentorship would do more than healing Anna. We have plenty of rewinds, so why not try it? One detail to note is that XP modifiers apply after summing up the different heals, so you aren't losing some insane amount to round in. Oof, 1 XP less. That's not worth rewinding again for. Mess with a good thing there. We want this last kill to be Parthia, so Marin can use Haz's Unite for a reliable weakening blow. This reliability isn't the greatest, but it'll work. It also shows the second set of dialogue.
Robin! You came along with Father, I see.
That's right. I never left Chrom's side.
I feel a bit self-conscious fighting my father's other half, but I will do the best I can.
I understand how you feel, but don't hold anything back. You figured out my plan?
Jean deserves an emblem after that performance, don't you think?
Well, I think that settles it. I've got my answer. How about you, Chrom?
Yes, indeed. We saw a tremendous display of strength and resolve. You are both bold in your actions and sincere in your beliefs. I'm impressed.
So, you'll join us?
Sorry for the trouble, but I wanted to be sure. Yes, we'll help you.
Let's join forces and usher this world toward an era of peace.
Thank you, Emblem Chrom. Emblem Robin. With you on our side, I've got more hope for our world than ever.
Hope, yes. That's the key to your peaceful world right there.
And it's up to us to spread that hope, so the world doesn't fall to despair. I think it's very important to breathe life into that goal by speaking it aloud.
Well said. If our goal is to bring hope to the world, we can't be half-hearted about it. There have been times in my life when I've been close to despair. In those moments, it was only thanks to Robin and our friends that I didn't give up. Even when I was destined to die, we conquered fate by trusting and inspiring each other.
That's right. And so long as you hold on to hope, you'll be capable of the same.
I understand. I'll take those words to heart.
That's the spirit. We look forward to joining you in the battles to come.
Father! Robin! It's been too long.
Lucina, I'm so happy to see you again.
You look well. And you've become an emblem just like us. Incredible. Chrom does almost nothing but worry about you. It's a little tiresome, if I'm honest.
We weren't going to discuss that in front of her.
You really worry that much?
Of course I do. I'm your father, but now that we're together again, I can finally rest easy.
It does feel as if a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Now we can fight side by side again, like we did in Elise.
Nothing would make me happier.
Together, we'll make this world a better place.
Together.
This cathedral is a cool space. While I walk around, let's say hello to our new emblem. For the record, I'm just going to call this emblem Chrom, because Chrom and Robin is too long, and I've recently realized Chromvin sounds quite awkward spoken aloud. With that out of the way, what's his deal? For lack of better words, Chrom feels the most like he costs extra. You'll see what I mean as we dive in. His bracelet offers incredible offensive firepower, starting with fantastic sync stats, Marth plus 1 dex. You're missing magic, but that's where the engage skill, other half, comes in. It gives a whopping plus 10 magic, and on top of that you have Robin chain attacking, as if he's an off-screen Lyn double. All 3 engage weapons share a name with a weapon they do not necessarily match, but once you recover from the confusion, you'll see they offer any unit a magic tool for other half and a sword with dragon effectiveness. Many of Chrom's skills play into that offense. Surprise attack, negating enemy counters from avoid terrain, feels like a souped-up version of Perceptive. It's not very good, but sometimes it helps a glass cannon. I'll mention a fun synergy. Sniper Yunaka in an avoid tile activates Train to Kill and Surprise Attack, and then because of Surprise Attack, you always proc no distractions for a plus 25 crit stack. You'll also get plus 1 movement while engaged from other half's covert bonus. Units like Sniper Yunaka also appreciate Chrom's next skill, Brute Force, increasing the crit multiplier from 3 to 4 on physical attacks. The party line is that crit boosts are a win more effect, and any unit who needs the boost is probably irredeemable, but that's not really true in Engage. Sure, Panette's able to hit her threshold without it, but we can't all be Panette. On player phase, an 80% crit chance with 2 bites at the apple gives you at least 196% of the time, and Sniper feels a lot better if all you need are 5 hit KOs. To play the odds even more, Chrom's last skill Charm boosts chain attacks from 80 to 90%. The engage attack, Giga 11 Sword, is a bit like All for One as a single hit sword attack. That makes it pretty weak, but it lets units with high strength use that while still hitting enemy resistance, so it has a small niche against enemy armor. If you use it next to Lucina, you get Giga 11 Sword Plus, adding chain attacks from adjacent allies, like a mini All for One. All of this comes together in a super fun way. I'm a big Ulcris enjoyer, and Chrom fits a similar high variance player phase game plan, playing the odds with chain attacks and high crit. Add in mixed offense, and you get an incredibly versatile unit. That's not the whole story, however. Awakening systems are often ignored because of the simple dominance of juggernauting with Robin and Chrom. It's only fitting that Duo has similarly lopsided balance and Engage. A few standout tools can usually overshadow the rest of their kit. First up, the skill I've conveniently elided, Rally Spectrum. Rally Spectrum gives the plus 3 to every basic stat Alir does while engaged with Byleth, but without its limitations. You can use this every turn on any unit. The plus version even has a 2-tile range. Although it doesn't stack with a second copy of itself, it does stack with that Alir boost. Having a boosted super unit dominate on enemy phase really simplifies the game, and Rally Spectrum's an incredible enabler for that. Sniper Yunaka could kill 1 unit on player phase, but she could also set up Merrin to kill 5 enemies on enemy phase. This is the Chrom curse. No matter how cool your plans for a Chrom user are, they usually end up just clicking Rally every turn. There is a second centralizing tool. Other halves plus 10 magic is decent on Ulcris, but fantastic for enemy phase mages. Chrom's lack of bulk in theory limits that, as long as there's no way to cheat that system. Oh right, Chrom's daughter. Chrom and Lucina make a very good pair, and I'm not talking about Giga 11 Sword Plus. I said in Lyn's analysis that weak, fast mages can't hit benchmarks as easily as strong, slow mages, but the DLC fills that gap. You can think of plus 10 magic as turning Clan into Ana. Sure, there's a time limit, but Bondage Shield already had that. And as I said in that discussion, most of the map can be dead before you play a single turn without your invincible buzzsaw. You can imagine how easy benchmarks could become with Pandreo or Merrin. It's easy to view Chrom cynically, and I'm not sure I'm helping. The stat boosts are Marth's but better, the Engrave is Sigurd's but better, Rally Spectrum is Dragon Byleth Instruct but better. You can find plenty of complaints at DLC fundamentally breaking the difficulty, and I see how Chrom's kit might give that impression. I can't say I agree, however. One goal for the series is to show the DLC emblems fitting into a serious campaign without trivializing it. Chrom can solve most of your problems, But that's more true of his daughter, and we're still having fun with her. Chrom requires similar care, but it's nothing beyond the pale for a game with such incredible power. What might that look like? Sometimes a little extra is exactly what you want. That can be true even if you want the difficulty to stay roughly comparable with the base game, although of course there's nothing wrong with just dumping everything into Kagetsu because he's cute and having him smoothly carry you to victory. Chrom's magic boost offers the juice you need to replace Byleth Pandreo with a sweetheart like Clan. You can think of that as correcting an injustice from base engage. Stacking 15 magic is far harder than stacking 15 speed, but mages aren't balanced accordingly. Especially without rigging Lilina S for 20% fire tome damage, Chrom fills the niche for Clan that Lyn fills for Citrine. Rally Spectrum can also be used to mix things up. Yunaka with a +3 Omni boost ends up a lot closer to vanilla Kagetsu than you'd expect. I often find the boost fun as a replacement for the hassle of dragging Byleth or meal rigging, even if you're just using it to hit benchmarks you could have without it. To me, Chrom's the poster child for how optional Engage's difficulty can feel. Part of that is him costing extra, part is having to pass up Rally every turn and not just once in the preps menu, and part is Chrom's simplicity relative to other game-warping tools like Hall Doubles. It's important to be intentional with him. The Chrom curse is not some supernatural force, it's about the choices you make as a player, and if you don't like the results, you can make different choices. I just beat Chrom's math without the base game's Rally Spectrum boost, Byleth's on Saline instead of my Dragon Allure, and without the base game's absurd enemy phase stat stack, Lyn's on Sniper Citrine, and not my Ivy. If you take that approach, Chrom enables a fun player phase unit with plenty of crit animations, versatility to handle almost any foe, and flexible support for the enemy phase setup you're just short of. With a more all-in mindset, you can open up team building and simplify the game. Either way, Chrom's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to reunite the family. Next up is a map I'm quite excited to show off my cooking for, Lyn's Paralogue. Bye, papaya!